Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming to you here from Utah. That's why we have no video, is because I've just arrived in Utah and I wasn't able to get video going here. And so I'm just wanting to get you something here today. It's actually late on Sunday night. This will go live in about 6 hours on Monday morning. So we've had the weekly close, we've had the daily close, of course, for Sunday, and I wanted to bring an update to you. I wanted to get some content out to you, but I am in Utah, I am traveling, and so I'll do my best to get you content each day with or without video here. So I do apologize for that. And a great shout out to anybody who is watching this and you are from Utah, Utahans, I think is what you're called, or Utahans. Maybe correct me if I got that wrong. I do apologize. I don't want to offend anybody out there. And give me a shout out in the comments if you are from Utah. So first of all, I want to look at the Bitcoin dominance. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't done so already, smash the like and helps get content out to more people out there. So I really appreciate that. Okay, so I want to look at Bitcoin dominance. As you can see, Bitcoin dominance has been going up. So the price of Bitcoin has gone up significantly because of that, but altcoins haven't really rallied apart from Solana. So what we'll want to look for is to see if this Bitcoin dominance can start to come down. If we see that start to come down, whether the price of Bitcoin stays the same or drops a little bit, we'll see alt start to rally. If we see the price of Bitcoin move down quite sharply or significantly, while Bitcoin dominance stays high, then alts are going to start to really take a little bit of a hammering. So just keep that in mind while you're trading this as well. It certainly is an important thing to have on your chart, and you can get there with btc.d and you can add that to your own chart. So let's quickly, while we're talking about Bitcoin, and by the way, Solana dominance is at a record high. So that's set a new all-time high for Solana dominance. That's also something you can track. sol.d, you can track that as well, and you can see it just keeps going, and more of the market liquidity is going into Solana. Okay, so if we go to the Bitcoin chart here, we can see, as I've been saying all along, this is playing out as I've said exactly all the way from the end of May. I've been talking about how this would play out. And so what happened was, in the wedge, I said we would start to, by the end of July and August, you can go back and look at my videos, that we would look to bust out of this wedge pattern here. And I still believe that we're going to come up. Well, I believe here is going to be a key area to break. Once we can break this and retest with some volume, we can be off to the races. Now, this may not happen. As you can see, we're also part of a larger wedge here that could play out all the way through to October. But I do think the last quarter of the year is where we're going to see this really take off and not come back. If we look at Ethereum, and I was going to say, obviously, with before I move on from Bitcoin, the key levels here to break at 69K, 69.70K. You can actually see the Lux Algo order block go all the way up to 71,835. So I'd say right now we got resistance from 69 all the way through to 72,000. If we can get above here, retest that as support, that's going to be great. What are some entries if we do have a pullback? That's a great question. Let's look at some of the entries here that we might have. Well, first of all, we've got a little bit, we might find a little support here. This is personally not where I would enter, but certainly on the daily at the top of the EMA ribbons here, the yellow band here is at 65,450. So that would not be a bad place. Remember, I gave you guys an entry back at 63,500 back here. If you took that, then you had made some good gains, about $6,000 that's gone up here in gains. But also you can see the 50-day moving average is sitting around 63,600. So that would be my next area of interest. So we've got 65,500 about. And remember, these are moving up. While price stays above this, they're moving up. And then the next level there, 63,500. If it manages to come back to that again, it may not. This may be the entry here. And I would feel quite confident taking an entry here at around 65,500 500, and again 63,500 there. We also have more support here at this trend line, which is sitting currently right now, if it was to come down today, at about 62,500. And then we've got more trend line support at 61,000, and the 200 EMA is sitting at 59,500. I'm not sure we get down there in the short term here. I think this might be the best entry here. It's at around 65,500 for Bitcoin. I did want to say that out loud because there are some people I know that you listen to this in the car or you watch it on the phone, and the feedback has been that you would appreciate if I actually gave you the actual numbers. So I'm doing that for you. I appreciate getting that feedback from you so I can help make this as good as possible for everybody, whether you can actually see the charts or not, if you're driving in your car or not. Okay, so Ethereum here, not as bullish. We closed under the 50-day moving average. And remember, Bitcoin, we closed above it. So you can see how we're just banging our head on this, and we broke through. We were banging our head onto the downside. We came up. Now we've had one retest. Let's see how long it takes. We are going to get through this. We just need Grayscale ETF holders to stop selling or just hurry up and sell so we can just get on with it. But certainly the level to break here to the upside is around 3,360. We have a lot of volume up here at about 34, 35. So that would be the next area that I would look. But personally, for me, I'd be looking to take profits up at 38, 3,900, as I've referenced in this video. If Ethereum does have another pullback, you can see the 200 EMA has been superb. Look how it came down. It wicked and just jolted off that thing. You can see here it came down. It did not stay long under there. It got this 200 EMA got bought up really, really quickly. So we have the 3150 would be the level I would look as a great entry there. If not, we come down this trend line. We're sitting at about 3,000, and then we've got the 2,800 to 2,900 area to check out there. And we're just going to have a quick look at Solana here, and we just did see it take off. I gave you the 165 pullback in a video a few days ago. I gave you this area. If you've gone in at 165, now we're at 193, okay? And so if you got in there, that's great. Now, where could we possibly be looking? Number one, let's look at profit targets. This is super easy, just bang on 200. This is where I'm going to take profit for Solana here. Obviously, if we continue to go to the upside, then I'll be looking at the Solana all-time high around 240, 260. Check out my cheat sheet. We'll have a look at it in a moment, and we'll see those levels there. Certainly for a pullback, what area am I looking for? I'm looking at on the daily time frame. It's important because some of these lines change. But you can see the top of the EMA ribbons here is sitting at about 170. So I would be looking about 170 to 174 there as a possible area if we saw a pullback for a re-entry there. So 170 to 174. It could even come down as low as 165. If it did, it would be great. So, but I would be comfortable in these areas here. Look, it's outside, a little bit outside what my cheat sheet levels are. This is quite outside the cheat sheet levels. So, but certainly this would be an aggressive entry as well, of course, because we are on a little bit of a pump. And so, that would be quite important. I do see here on the stochastic RSI, we do see a bit of bearish divergence as well. So you can see here that the price is lower, and then it goes higher. But then on the stochastic RSI, it is higher, and then it goes lower. So there is a little bit of bearish divergence there, just to be careful of that. Do we see the same on the RSI? It's a little bit hard to tell. We might check that on the chart here. We can check that out here. Yeah, there is a little bit, again, of bearish divergence here as well. So the RSI is a little bit higher, and this is a little bit lower, and you can see it's considerably higher there. So we have bearish divergence on both of these. Now, this could take some time to play out, by the way. Solana could just shoot up and it may not play out. It may become invalidated. And so we may just see it shoot on up to its all-time high, and we may see this curve around. And so if this can curve around and go above here, and this can keep going up, then we're going to invalidate that, and this is the same on the other side. So check out the RSI and the stochastic RSI and price action, and let's see if it follows price action, because right here it's not following price action. It is much lower than where we had this level here, and really it should be higher, and it's lower. So for Solana there. So entries here. Further to that, to the downside, we're looking at the 50-day moving average at 150, and then we're looking down at the 200 EMA on the daily around 138, 140, and then further down, and these levels could be gone now, 120, 125. That could be all over for those levels there. And this brings me back to my cheat sheet. And so if you look here, if you had been following my cheat sheet, you would have been able to get in from 120, around 120, all the way these levels here. And your average, I'm just going to say these levels are gone and we're not going to see them. And your average there, 120, 140, 160, would be around about 140. Your average would be 140 if you had been getting in at all those levels. But I just encourage you here to not be apathetical about these levels, because at any time this market can take off and may not come back. And once it does, the chances at getting at these levels will be gone, and you'll be on the Discord or in the YouTube saying, hey, what are the levels for Solana? You know, when Solana's at 220, 240, I'm like, well, we're close to the all-time high. I'm not going to recommend getting there, or the previous all-time high. And so as you can see, particularly with Solana, oh yes, we're going to look at that. So yeah, 260 was the previous all-time high. So I'll be taking some profit on my swing trade at 200, and then my hodl bag at 260, and then 415, 500, and then we'll see somewhere between 600 and 900. I think that will get up to that long term. And so this opportunity might be gone. Some people have asked, what's the orange? The orange means it's still in the buy zones. Banana gun is still in the buy zones. I think it's sitting around 57, 58. If it takes off, this was your last opportunity. We may not see $47 and $50. It might be gone. Avalanche is still in the buy zones. It's still an entry too, $27 to $30. Weave is gone. We may not see that come back. AOS is still in the buy zone. Bitcoin has left the buy zone. So I gave that level at 63,500. That level is now gone. If you got that level, great. If you didn't, you've got to understand that there were people. I remember when Bitcoin was down at 16,000 and people were waiting for 11 and 10, and they're still waiting at 11 and 10. And so this is why I like the dollar cost average system. That's why I like cheat sheet, because it means you can actually get some. And if it goes lower, get a little bit more. And if it goes lower, you get a little bit more. If it goes lower, you get a little bit more, and so on. And then you just wait for it to rebound. So all of these, Ethereum is still in the buy zone. Doge is still in the buy zone. Brett, I'm not sure if it's in the buy zone anymore. Let's just quickly check on Brett. If Brett is in the buy zone. Here, Brett is in the buy zone. Brett is not in the buy zone anymore. So Brett has come off the buy zone, but it was just recently, a couple of days ago. Oops, it was in the buy zone. So Doge is in the buy zone. Floki, hello, is in the buy zone. Injective isn't. It's close. Joystream, Casper's not. Ondo is still in the buy zone. OM is not in the buy zone. Pendle is, or Pyth, however you want to say it is. So most of these coins are actually still in the buy zone. You are still fortunate. All we've really seen taken off is Bitcoin and Solana, really. And the rest are still in buy zones. Tau is just in the buy zone. It went all the way down to $200. So you'd almost be up 100% if you'd taken that trade at $200. So these levels are working. They're good levels. They're solid. And I know some of you have already said that you bought these levels on July 4th, and then you took profits just recently at the end of July. You're up so much on that, and that's the way that it should be. So utilize this cheat sheet. There's lots of great tabs here. We also have an others tab. Somebody was asking me about Link, what I thought about Link. It's here. Look, I think Link can do well here, but the problem I have with Link is the fully diluted valuation is only at 60%. The rest of the 40% of the tokens can be dumped in the market at any time. And I think that has scared smart investors away because that will suppress price. So I'm not saying if you're a Link holder and you like Link, that's great. I think it can reach these targets here. I've got TP1 of 33, 50, and 68. Moonbag at 85. I honestly think with an ETF, it can go higher. Without an ETF or without, maybe there's some big partnership it does somewhere along the way, makes big news. It can help, but otherwise, I think these are quite realistic targets here. We've got Jasmine, we've got HNT, we've got a whole bunch of others that are here. I've added stacks. I had so many requests for stacks, so I finally added stacks in there for you all. And so there's some entries there for stacks, including the aggressive entry, and there's some take profits on the way, a Moonbag. And so I actually added that just today, just recently. So I'll look at certainly adding others. If I have enough requests for others, I will add some others. Otherwise, you've got entries, you've got stocks here, where I've got aggressive entries and other entries here. I've got exits for some coins on here. I can add other exits as well if you've got coins that you want to get rid of and want a dollar cost average out of these. Maybe some of you just want to rip the Band-Aid off. But a lot of the time, because a lot of these alts, it's still now down the bottom. You don't want to sell the bottom necessarily. And so it can be good to have some dollar cost average exits as you go up. I've got all the links here. BitConnect, I know some of you are starting to sign up for BitConnect. Please see my very first video getting started, which I have now linked here on how to move your liquidity, your finances from Coinbase, Uphold, or Crypto.com and get it onto BitConnect. That will save you money. You can also leverage trade on there if you're an experienced leverage trader. Not recommended for you if you're not. And there's a lot more coins on there. You can put limit buy and sell orders on there. The fees are very low. And obviously, if you use my referral code, you get a reduction on the fees, and also you help support this channel, so it's a win-win situation, and I would really appreciate that. And that's the same for all of them here. There's BitGet and Bybit. These are for non-USA residents, though. There's also KuCoin, non-USA residents, Mix, non-USA residents, and OKX as well. So if you're in the USA, you can't use those ones. If you're in the USA, it's BitConnect. There might be a few others there, but this would be the one I feel having confidence to recommend to you. I use it, and so I feel like I can confidently recommend that one there. And obviously, otherwise, you've got Coinbase, Crypto.com, and Uphold, but you are paying a lot of fees, and you're paying kind of some bad spreads. You're not getting the best prices. And as well, they don't always have all the tokens that you need. BitConnect has a great selection of tokens and ever growing, and most of the cheat sheet tokens are actually on BitConnect. I probably can update on some of them. I think Casper now is on BitConnect as well. It wasn't. And so they're adding them all the time. I should go through and update this on which ones are now on BitConnect as well. But you can also go in there and search on BitConnect for yourself if you can't wait for me to update that. But you can see most of these are still in the orange. This is great opportunities to get these coins. Of course, if there's suddenly a Bitcoin dump and it goes lower, then you'll be able to pick them up a little bit lower as well. That's the beauty of dollar cost averaging. But certainly, as you can see with Solana, we're not sure if we're going to see this price. Maybe this price, well, I'm not sure. This price, and definitely the 100 and the 80 that I put in here as well. Maybe we'll see it. Maybe we won't, but I think these two are quite unlikely, and I think if we get lucky, we might come back here. But don't be down there in the bull run saying, "Oh, I wish I'd bought more. I wish I'd bought these levels," and you didn't. And the question, and I'll close on this. The question you have to ask yourself is, if the market was to take off today, and you weren't able to get any more of any of these tokens, are you going to be okay with that? And if the answer is no, then it's not a bad idea to take some more liquidity and get some entries here and get the amount of token that you want. You can be greedy and wait for these low prices. At the end of the day, if we reach all these targets up here, does it matter that you paid a couple more cents for a token, or got it a couple of cents cheaper or a couple of dollars cheaper? I'm not sure. So what I would say to that, if you don't have all your quotas fill on that, and you're going to be feeling, oh wow, a bit of FOMO that you want more of these tokens and you didn't get them, certainly not financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor. That's just for education and entertainment purposes. But this is the question I asked myself. If the market was to take off today, like if I was to go to bed tonight and the market just completely took off and didn't come back again, and it just kept going off for the next 6 to 12 months and kept going higher and higher, and these prices were never revisited again, would I be okay with the levels and the quantities I have of these coins? And if the answer is no, then I should go and fill my bags up a little bit more. And of course, I always recommend having a little bit of dry powder just in case you see those real low dips like we saw on July 4th, and identified those local bottoms for you. And if you want to learn how to identify those local bottoms, go to Life Changing Games series and find episode 4, buy or sell and go to the beach. And this will show you the local bottom. I call the local bottom at around 53,000 on Bitcoin. There were certain indicators that I find have been nailed it every single time. And once these indicators are flashing for me, then I know, hey, that's a time to either buy, or if they flip upside the other way, then it's a time to sell. And certainly when those indicators start to flash again, I will certainly be saying, hey, it's time to take some profits off the board, just like I was saying, hey, it's time to pick up some of these coins at these prices. So I'm going to leave it there today. There's no video. I again apologize for that. I will try and get video up and running tomorrow or the next day. If not, I'll just keep persisting with or without video to get you the best updates. And I hope that you enjoy your Monday. And until the next video, happy trading.